Friends, I am indeed honored to be here addressing a distinguished gathering this afternoon on very, very important question, which could be as explosive as nuclear bomb or could be as useful as human spirituality. I've been here for last 3 days and Mariale, Sonia, Tony, Helen, Christian, we feel as if we have been together for months and years. Though our religions are different, our cultures are different, well, also languages are different because my mother tongue is not English. My mother tongue is one of the Indian languages, Gujarati. Why so? And why we start fighting in the name of religion and become each other's enemies and start killing each other? Religion is religion. Then why like this? The main thing is religion is not the fundamental cause of conflict. It is only an instrumental cause of conflict, a tool which is used. There is nothing in religion which makes us fight. There is everything in religion which makes us good human beings. Unfortunately, the way religion is projected by media, by our families, by our schools and colleges, makes us misunderstand the real potential of religion. And well, someone may be atheist, may not believe in God, may not believe in any religion. Even that human being is, after all, human being. Religion is for human beings. Human beings are not for religion. That we must understand. We are human beings. There are great weaknesses in us. We get angry, we get revengeful, we become greedy, we have our own vested interests. All this creates problems. And to control these weaknesses, religion came. It is nothing if it is not moral force, not ethical force. I don't care for this religion, this religious doctrine or that religious doctrine. For me, that is not fundamental. You all know that Islam believes in one God. And there are idol worshippers who believe in several gods. That does not bother me. That why one does not believe in one God and why one believes in several gods or no God. What bothers me is whether one who is believing in one God or several gods or no God is good human being or not. Has higher morality or not. And I would like to quote a story of Buddha. Once Buddha was discussing about religion and somebody asked him question. He narrated a story. He said one person was traveling and he came across river. He was stuck because his destination was on the other side of river. So he happened to see a boat. So he took boat and crossed river. He thought it's very useful. I can cross river with the help of this boat. So he took that boat and put it on his head and he started walking. So Buddha said, boat is very useful, but only to cross river, not to carry it on your head all the time. Same is of religion. Religion can be very useful as a moral force to control evil, but instead we wear it on our sleeves all the time, keep it on our head all the time, and it becomes a problem. It becomes a burden. So, let us understand what is utility of religion and what is problem with the religion. We are all human beings. And apart from other weaknesses, one more weakness is that what belongs to us we consider good. What belongs to other we consider inferior. And that is why religion becomes a problem. It is my religion, so it is good. It is your religion, so it is not good. That is a very wrong attitude towards religion. Religion should be taken as a moral category. Doctrines, teachings develop in a particular context in the religion. That context also we don't understand, and we absolutize teaching of our religion. For example, Sharia law in Islam was very just when it was developed, but it was developed in certain context. The context has changed, so it became problematic, it became a burden. Unless you change with the context and unless you understand why certain thing came into existence, why it was emphasized, it will not serve your purpose. It will become burden. And then you will go on carrying that burden as that man carried boat on his head. I think faith is very important, but not blind faith. Faith has to be rational. Now many may raise their eyebrows. How faith can be rational? And this is the problem with rationalists. They reject faith altogether and think that reason is our God. As those who have blind faith emphasize faith and de-emphasize reason, similarly those who emphasize reason de-emphasize faith. And the problem develops. Faith and reason both are very complementary. And there is a beautiful story in a Hindu scripture, not a scripture, it's a story book. that once a lame person met with a blind person. They talked to each other where you are going. They found that both have the same destination. They have to go to such and such place. So the blind person said, very good. We both can cooperate and reach our destination. I cannot walk because I am lame, and you cannot see because you are blind. So let me ride over your shoulders. I will show the way and you will walk, and we will both reach our destination. This is what relationship between faith and reason is. Reason can see, faith can give you energy. So both faith and reason should cooperate. Faith is as important as reason. Blind faith is as bad as reason without faith. Both can be very problematic. The problem is those who believe in reason totally neglect faith, and those who are faithful hate reason. So we'll have to create balance because our destination is same. What is religion for all of us, or what it has been in history? And why religion came and when did it come? Or if we talk in religious language, when God sent His prophets, when there was moral crisis in the society. Take Islam. When Muhammad began preaching Islam, or when Allah revealed Quran to him, Mecca was a tribal society, and Mecca became a high center of international trade and finance. And tribal chiefs, who were earlier mere guides to those caravans, which started from China, passed through India, crossed sea to Yemen, then to Mecca, where goods were sold and bought, and camel reloaded, and then they had to cross the desert, which was a massive desert. No one could cross without the help of the Meccan Arabs. So initially they were guides, but soon they became expert traders and started accumulating wealth and neglected entire tribal morality. You know, in tribe there is no property. Land is common. They graze their animals on land, that's all. And whatever they have, they share equally among themselves. This was the central morality of tribal society. This was destroyed by commercial society. Greed for profit, greed for money. And that is why Quran condemned accumulation of wealth and neglecting the morality. This was the context in which Islam came into existence. And each religion came during moral crisis. Gita, for example, Hindu scripture. Lord Krishna is urging upon Arjun to fight. He says, how can I fight my cousins? So Lord Krishna says, you are not fighting your cousins. You are fighting the evil they represent. They have become immoral. They have broken their promise they had made to you. They have become greedy for power, so you have to fight. And then he says, whenever there is moral crisis in the society, I come and guide you. So each religion comes into existence when there is moral crisis. So religion which comes to guide us during moral crisis, how can it become cause of conflict? It comes for peace, it comes for higher morality. And each religion represents set of values. There are set of values which are common to all religions, but some of these values are emphasized more by one religion compared to other religion. That does not mean other values are negated, no. All values are important, but depending on the context, 2 or 3 values become central to that religion. What are those values? Truth, justice, love, non-violence, compassion, human dignity. Now, just see Indic religions, be it Hindu religion or other religions which came into existence in India. They all emphasize non-violence. In Jainism, Buddhism is widely known worldwide, but Jainism is not as well known. Killing bacteria is a great sin, let alone human life. So they don't eat what grows below the soil. Jains would not eat those things. For example, they will not eat this piyaz, sorry, forgotten the word in English. We use it every day. They won't eat potato also, because that also grows below the soil. Because whatever grows below the soil has bacteria. And bacteria means life. To such an extent, they emphasize non-violence. Then, let us take Christianity. Love becomes central value, and non-violence in Christianity also. Gandhiji used to say publicly that what influenced me most was the Sermon on the Mount. But who practices these values? Similarly, Islam. As I said, its context was entirely different. So central values in Islam are equality and justice. Because injustices were being done by tribal chiefs to the poor, orphans and widows. So it emphasized justice and equality. So each religion emphasizes a set of values, but would accept all these values which I just now mentioned. What we have to ask ourselves is this: why do we keep on fighting on certain teachings and doctrines and do not emphasize these values? Let us emphasize these values, and religions, all religions, will become a boon for us. But we know religions are misused by powerful interests. They make us fight. They exploit our ignorance of religion, and they exploit our prejudices against other religions. First thing we have to do, whether we are believer or not, is to get rid of our petty prejudices. It is these petty prejudices against the other and real democratic spirit is to accept the other as other is, not dictate the other that you should be like this, like that, then we will accept you. That is not being democratic. That is being authoritarian. And that is why, as reason is very important to faith, freedom is very important to faith. Faith without freedom can never be genuine. Then it can be only imitating what our ancestors did or what our community people do. A truly religious soul will be quite independent and will exercise freedom. Because it is through freedom we'll be able to choose what is best for us. And then that will become our genuine conviction and will not exploit it. Unfortunately, religion and freedom have become antagonistic. The structures which come into existence, the establishment which comes into existence, for them, freedom is an enemy. Because if an individual exercises freedom, it is threat to their authority. So, church would suppress freedom, the ulama would, Muslim theologians would suppress freedom, and so in every religion. Because freedom is seen as a threat. A spiritual mind, a religious mind, cannot be really religious without freedom of thought, without critically examining what exists. Because if you critically examine, many things will be exposed, which those structures hide from us, those establishments hide from us. The religious authorities always demand obedience. Do what we say. That is divine. That is not divine. That is one's interest which dictates. God has given us two great boons. intellect and freedom. Our religion will be enriched if we use intellect and freedom. When I was a student, I happened to read a book by an Urdu author, Muslim of course. He was a very influential writer, but target of wrath of Muslim theologians because he raised very inconvenient questions. The name of the book was Mano Yazda. Man means I, Yazda means God. That was the title of the book, I and God, in which he raises one question. And he sent that question to more than 100 Muslim theologians and requested them for answer. The question was, there is a Muslim who prays 5 times, who fasts for 30 days, who has performed Hajj, but is a great liar, tormentor of his neighbor, a cheat. Then he says there is a Brahmin, a Hindu priest, who is not only idol worshipper, but all the time wears some or the other idol. But is very honest, very helpful, very compassionate, always ready to help poor. Who will enter paradise? The Muslim or the Brahmin priest who is an idol worshipper? All said Muslim will enter paradise and Brahmin cannot because he is idol worshipper. Only one priest, one theologian said, Allah knows the best. Now, this is our attitude towards religion. What was wrong if he was worshipping idol, but a very good human being, very noble human being? What is more important? What you worship or what your character is, what your conduct is? What is more important? Obviously, a person who is right thinking, who uses her or his intellect and freedom of thought, would say unhesitatingly that the idol worshipper would enter paradise. Here I would also like to narrate a story of a Sufi saint, Nizamuddin Auliya, a great Sufi saint from India. Once he was having his morning walk. He lived along the bank of a river, Jamuna. The two great rivers in India, Ganga and Jamuna, which are considered very holy by Hindus. And he had his disciple with him, and some Hindu women were having dip in the holy river and worshipping sun. So Nizamuddin Auliya addressed his disciple and said, "Do not hate these women. They are also worshipping Allah, but their own way." And he recited a verse from Quran, لِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. a very important verse. For everyone, we have appointed a direction in which they turn to worship me. Leave it to me, who is right, who is wrong. What human beings have to do is what this Urdu writer had emphasized. Fastabiqul khairat. Excel each other in good deeds. Leave rest to me. Whether you are worshipping in right way or wrong way, I will decide. You excel each other in good deeds. Another thing which Quran says, and which is always neglected by Muslim theologians, Quran says, if I had desired, I would have made all of you one religious community. It was not difficult for Allah. But I created diversity, different religions, to test you whether you can live in peace and harmony with this diversity. And again it says, excel each other in good deeds. This is religion. But the original message of Scripture is always forgotten because it cannot serve your vested interest. It cannot enable you to have powerful establishments and control others' minds. But if you go to Scriptures, essence of all Scriptures is to emphasize morality, not certain theological doctrines. Theological doctrines emerge from cultural context. And there is nothing divine about it. So for me, morality is central, everything is secondary. And religions are different because they emerge in different cultures. But being different does not mean being hostile. That we have to understand. Differences are there and will remain. Even two members of a family are different from each other. Two sisters are different from each other. Two brothers are different from each other. Son or daughter often conflict in views with parents. But that does not mean they should be enemy of each other. One brother may choose to be a police officer, another brother may choose to be a priest. But that does not mean one brother will denounce the other or one sister will denounce the other and start quarreling. So differences are there and must be respected. When differences turn hostile, where there is some power politics behind it. When you misuse religion for power or for possession. That is, religion becomes tool to serve your interests and not a means to improve your morality. So our religious differences should be a creative force, an inspiration to us to learn from the other. Here, you might have heard name of Vivekananda, a great soul from India again, a Hindu seer. His guru was Ram Krishna. And Ram Krishna mission is very famous in India. He was a spiritual, intensely spiritual person, Ram Krishna. He wanted to see whether to be Muslim or to be Christian is in conflict with to be Hindu. So he decided to practice Christianity for one whole year. He did all that which Christians do. All Christian rituals, Christian values, all that. Similarly, he spent 1 year as a Muslim. He did all that Muslims do. And he came to conclusion that there is no difference between Hinduism, Islam and Christianity as far as spirituality is concerned. Spirituality is common to all religions. And that is why we have to understand the meaning of truth. We often say God is truth. Gandhiji reversed it and he said truth is God. Where there is no truth, there cannot be God. And then what is truth? What is difference between fact and truth? The difference is truth is not mere fact. Truth is fact plus values. It is those values which make truth a truth. It's the spirituality. Truth, of course, has to be in conformity with facts. It can never contradict facts. Then it will not be truth. But truth is not mere fact. Truth is also spiritual. It represents certain values. And that is why truth is far more important. Now, science deals with empirical facts, and religion deals with truth. So there cannot be conflict between the two. In my childhood, as I told you the other day also, I am a son of a priest, Muslim priest. And my father had several friends who were also priests. And they all thought science and religion cannot go together. Why they are afraid of science? Because science emphasizes reason, examining things, questioning things, not simply accepting. That's why they are afraid of science. That if science is encouraged, they will start questioning everything. Religious practices also, religious customs and traditions also, and we will be in trouble. And many people still think there is conflict between science and religion. There cannot be conflict between science and religion, because one deals with empirical facts, which is equally important, and one deals with spirituality. But both, what is common among both, is that you must critically examine to develop genuine faith. Unfortunately, our education system is also a part of the problem. It also wants you to accept certain things without questioning. That is why the Latin American father, I think Father Friar, he said there are two types of education: bank deposit type of education and interactive education. Ours is mostly bank deposit type. Teacher comes in the class, deposits some information in your mind, expects it to be accepted without questioning. As you go to the bank, you deposit money, the clerk accepts and credits in your favor. He doesn't ask whether you committed theft or robbery or worked honestly to earn this money. His job is just to accept it and credit. Same thing, teacher comes to class, he deposits some information, his students don't question it, accepts it unquestioningly, and reproduce it in examination. So true education will be interactive. The students and teachers must interact. Students must have freedom to ask questions and critical questions. Then creativity will come into play and a very sharp mind would develop. A creative mind would develop. In our religious tradition also, guru and disciple. Whatever guru says, disciple has to accept, not allowed to question. So we will never develop genuine faith, critical faith. Religion like Buddhism, I have great honor and respect for Buddhism. But what happened with Buddhism? It became a huge establishment in India. Lot of wealth, lot of land, monastery. Even if you go to Buddhist countries like Thailand, like Sri Lanka, huge monasteries, huge pieces of land belonging to monasteries, and priests are very powerful politically. And even they collaborate with chain of shops. So Buddhism was wiped out from India. Today there are only 1% Buddhists in India. At one time, more than 75% were Buddhists in India. Today only 1%. Why was it wiped out? Because it became a burden. They started exploiting, accumulating wealth and land and all that. So religion, the day it becomes establishment, becomes a source of exploitation, and it ceases to be moral force. So any revolt against such religion is a must. I'm saying this very seriously. I'm a religious person. And I have revolted in my own community because priesthood in my community has become so powerful that many of us can't even imagine. Because of wealth, because of exploitation of blind faith, and emphasizing their own authority. Anyone who questioned them is immediately excommunicated. Today, I am totally isolated in my community. Except my sister, nobody has maintained relations with. my childhood friends, my relatives, all of them have excommunicated me. I can't join them on any occasion of joy or sorrow. Even when my brother died, I was asked to get out of cemetery. Otherwise, they will throw away body of my brother. If religion becomes such a tool, how can you accept it? So unless we make religion vibrant, a moral force, a force of cooperation, a force of enriching humanity, such religion can never be acceptable. And those who accept, they are either blind followers or have certain interests. So all the conflict in the world in the name of religion is because of this. Islam, which came to create equality and give justice to humanity, emphasizing human dignity, accepting religious plurality, also turned into a tool of oppression. The word jihad in Quran, it has been used only for making efforts, not for war. It comes 41 times in Quran, this word, but not even once for war. Jahada in Arabic means to make efforts. So make efforts to spread goodness in the world, to spread morality in the world. This is the real meaning of jihad. But soon, vested interests who were greedy for power began to use this word in the sense of war and for grabbing others' land, others' countries, they used it. For war, there are other words in Quran. Qital. The real word for war in Quran is qital. وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا وَلَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. That is, fight or wage war in the way of Allah against those who wage war against you. Do not be aggressors. Allah does not love aggressors. And those who kill innocent people in the name of jihad, they are violating doctrine of Quran. Quran prohibits you from becoming aggressor. Allah hates aggressors. So, it is political power, political revenge, political reaction, which makes them use such words for their own interests. So please do not be misled if someone says we are waging jihad. They are waging personal revenge, reacting to certain policies of America. It has nothing to do with Islam. We must be very clear about it. Osama has misused Islam for his own ends. Because when those trade towers were attacked in New York, whom did he kill? 3,000 innocent people who were working there. They were not responsible for foreign policy of America. They were not responsible for what was happening in West Asia. They were ordinary people earning their livelihood. And compassion is as central to Quranic values as to Buddhism. What is most popular name of Allah? Rahim and Rahman, compassionate. And you claim to worship Allah, you claim to believe in Allah, and you kill innocent people. You are most cruel person. You disobey Allah and Islam by killing innocent people. So friends, unless we study a religion ourselves, we'll never be able to understand it. And study your own religion and any other religion, casting away all the prejudices. Have open mind. And then study. Sufi saints in Islam, they kept their total distance from kings and rulers. Because they knew kings and rulers do not represent Islam, they represent their own political interests. And Sufi saints were interested in spirituality, in true religion. And there was close cooperation between Christian saints, Jewish saints, and Sufi saints. There is a long history of that cooperation. Because all three were interested in spirituality, not in political power. Sufi Islam came into existence precisely because the ruling classes were wrongly exploiting Islam for their own interests. And so they decided we'll keep our distance from all ruling establishments. And I'll end with a story of Nizamuddin, whom I quoted just now. He saw rule of 5 sultans in India, 5 powerful rulers. He did not go to the court of single sultan. The last sultan in his time, Firoz Tughlaq, he was very jealous of popularity of Nizamuddin Aulia. Thousands and thousands of people would flock to have his glimpse, his darshan. So he told his disciple Khusro that I want Nizamuddin in my court. And please deliver my message to Nizamuddin. Khusro delivered the message. So Nizamuddin smiled and said, Khusro, you know, I do not pay court to any sultan. Please tell him on my behalf. So Khusro conveyed to Sultan. Sultan said, oh, Nizamuddin will not come to my court. So I will go to his hospice and pay my tribute to him. Again Khusro conveyed. So Nizamuddin smiled and said, Khusro, tell your Sultan that there are 2 doors to my hospice. When Sultan enters from one door, I will walk out from another door. This is religion. Thank you very much.